Everyone tells you space is humanity's final frontier. It isn't. We've mapped the surface of Mars in higher detail than we've mapped the deepest cave on Earth. There is a hole in the ground in the country of Georgia that drops over 2 kilometers straight down into the planet. And as of right now, fewer than 30 people in all of human history have ever reached the bottom of it. Fewer than have walked on the moon. Fewer than have been to space. It's called Veryovkina Cave. And the reason you've never heard of it isn't that it's unimportant. It's that what's down there is almost impossible to survive long enough to see. Let's go in. The Arabica Massif sits in the Caucasus Mountains, a limestone plateau riddled with cracks that swallow rainwater and never give it back. Cavers suspected for decades that something massive was hiding underneath it. In 1968, Soviet speleologists found a narrow crack in the rock, barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through sideways. They named it after a colleague, logged it, and moved on. They had absolutely no idea what they had actually found. The entrance looks almost normal. Loose rock, cold air, the kind of cave that belongs on a school trip. But within the first 200 meters, the passage tightens into something called a meander, a twisting slot canyon carved by water over millions of years. So narrow in places that cavers have to exhale completely just to fit their ribcage through. This is where most people stop. Not because of fear, because of math. Every meter down is a meter you have to climb back up, exhausted on the way out. Most people do the math and turn around. The people who don't are the ones this video is about. Past 500 meters, the cave stops pretending. You've entered the pitch series, vertical drops, one after another, some over 100 meters straight down, rigged with rope anchored into the rock by the team before you. There's no walking here. You rappel, you climb, you rappel again. The temperature locks in at around 4 degrees Celsius and stays there for the rest of the descent regardless of what season it is, regardless of what's happening a kilometer above your head in actual daylight. Your world shrinks to the circle of light on your helmet, the rope in your hands, and the sound of water somewhere below you in the dark. At around 900 meters, something changes, and it has nothing to do with the rock. Cavers report a specific, well-documented psychological shift after extended time without natural light. Their internal sense of time starts to drift. In 1962, French geologist Michel Siffre spent 2 months alone inside a glacier cave with no clock, no phone, no way of tracking the days. When researchers pulled him out, he thought he'd been underground for 34 days. It had been 58. His brain, starved of light, had quietly lost the plot. Your internal clock, it turns out, is partly running on sunlight. Take sunlight away completely, and it starts lying to you. By 1,200 meters, you are deeper than the Burj Khalifa is tall, and you are still going down. The walls here are slick with moisture. The air is so humid it feels like breathing through a wet cloth. The only sound is water you can't see, dripping somewhere below in passages that haven't been mapped yet. Teams don't push to the bottom and back in a single trip. They can't. They sleep down here, in underground camps, tents pitched on rocky ledges, supplies cached in advance over multiple separate expeditions, just to make the attempt survivable. This is also where cave fever sets in. Not a metaphor. A documented condition, disorientation, mounting irritability, and in some cases, hallucinations. Your brain generating its own input when the environment stops providing any. There's no rescue at 1,200 meters in any real sense. The nearest help is days away through terrain that nearly broke you on the way in. You are completely, totally on your own. And you still have 1,000 meters to go. In 2018, a Russian Geographical Society expedition led by speleologist Gennady Samokhin went further than any human being in recorded history. Pitch after pitch, camp after camp, past the 2,000-meter mark. And then, at 2,212 meters below the surface, they hit the bottom. Not a great cathedral chamber, not some dramatic underground lake lit by crystal, a sump. A passage completely flooded with freezing water, the kind of dead end that doesn't mean the cave is finished. It means the cave continues somewhere your body simply cannot follow without specialized cave diving equipment and a willingness to die for a number on a map. Here's what that number actually means. We have sent rovers to Mars with cameras, drills, and chemical labs. We have photographed the surface of Pluto from 5 billion kilometers away. And there is a flooded passage 2,000 to 212 meters beneath a mountain in the Caucasus that no human has ever seen past, because the only way to find out what's there is to put your body somewhere your body was never designed to survive. That's the frontier. It isn't up there. It's right underneath your feet. And here's the part that makes this stranger than it sounds. Scientists studying the deep biosphere, the thin layer of life that exists kilometers underground in caves and rock, have found microbial organisms in environments like this that have never once been exposed to sunlight in their entire evolutionary history. Life running on chemistry instead of photosynthesis, with no sun, no seasons, no surface world at all. NASA studies ecosystems like this as a working model for what might exist beneath the ice of Europa, or Enceladus, the moons of Jupiter, and Saturn. The deepest cave on Earth isn't just a geological curiosity. It's one of the closest things we have to another planet, one you can actually walk into if you're willing to spend 2 weeks descending into total darkness to get there. We've mapped 100% of the moon's surface. We've mapped roughly 5% of Earth's cave systems in any meaningful detail, according to the National Speleological Society. The deepest places on our own planet are less understood than the deepest places in our solar system. Not because they matter less, but because getting there is harder than reaching space. No rocket, no weightlessness, no floating gently toward a destination. Just rope, cold, your own body, and 2 weeks spent somewhere the sun has never touched. There are still cracks in that mountain range that nobody has entered, still sumps nobody has dived. The deepest confirmed point on Earth was only established in 2018, which means right now, in total darkness, someone is probably rigging rope into the next one, trying to go further than anyone in human history has ever gone, just to find out what's actually down there. We've spent decades staring upward, convinced the next great discovery was somewhere above us. It was underneath us the entire time, 2 kilometers down, in the dark, waiting for someone willing to lose the light for 2 weeks just to stand somewhere no one has ever stood before.